Hello everyone, happy Monday. Welcome to this session that I've been asked to put together to share with you some of the tips and strategies that I know for getting you through a crisis and also ideally making your business crisis proof out of the end of COVID-19. I hope you're all safe and well and that your families are too, and that you stay that way. Okay, so who am I and why should you listen to me for the next 40 minutes or so? Well, I'm Marianne Page, and my background, my corporate background was McDonald's. I was a senior manager at McDonald's for quite a lot of years, for quite a few of those years, I was part of their crisis management team. And believe me, McDonald's have been through a few crises in their time. If I can flick, that's it. So here are just some of McDonald's crises. Probably the two biggest that I helped with, if you like, were mad cow disease, which was obviously major, affecting the beef supply to every restaurant, not just McDonald's, but obviously major for McDonald's. And in the bottom left there was the Buncefield explosion and fire that effectively wiped out McDonald's main distribution centre in the UK. So there was an awful lot of work went into resolving that as a crisis and keeping every restaurant going. Bottom right is the current picture of, in fact, it's probably going to be worse today with the announcement that every McDonald's restaurant is going to shut completely today. But this was the picture of McDonald's share price, effectively lost $100 pretty much overnight. But the thing with McDonald's and the thing with their approach to crisis and how they deal with a crisis and come through it and rise again is down to planning, it's down to systems, and it's down to just a routine. It's the way things get done at McDonald's means that they are ready when a crisis hits. They are able to mobilize quickly. Their people are all on board. There used to be a saying that, oh, we all love a crisis because everybody mobilizes, everybody knows their role, and they rise to the occasion. So there are a few things that I learned out of the back of these crises. The first one really is to understand what your values are, because believe me, McDonald's have made mistakes in how they approach certain matters. For example, McLibel that I showed there, they dealt with that appallingly badly for 10 years. It was the longest trial ever. But they learn from the mistakes. When the episode is over, they always review: what did we do right? What did we do wrong? What can we learn? And some of that comes from, so they understand. You need to understand what your values are, and really understand what your values are. Not, oh yeah, well, honesty and integrity, which is what everybody says when you say what your values. What is really important to you? What's going to be obvious to other people about what your values are through this crisis? Are you going to demonstrate how much you care for people, or are you going to demonstrate how much you care for money, or what are your true values going to show up as during this crisis? The reason I put this on a lesson learned from my time with McDonald's was that out of the BSE crisis, McDonald's thought that they should go down the salad route. They thought that People wanted to eat healthily, and wouldn't it be good, in case there was another BSE, that they went into salads. Big mistake, because that wasn't what people went to McDonald's for. People don't go to McDonald's to be healthy. They go because they want a treat, or because it's fast. They just want to grab and run. So they were trying to follow, when actually in all of their time they have been really good at leading. So in what way can you show leadership within your business? How are your values going to show up? How are you going to lead through this crisis? Know and respect the people you serve. Like, really understand who those people are, understand what they need from you right now, what it is they're looking for. Again, back to leadership there, but what is it they're looking for from you? And don't stop communicating with them. Communicate more. Ask, don't tell. Ask them what they want, give them what they need. Now more than ever, your ability to lead them through this is going to be important. I guess this is a little late for you right this second, but certainly in terms of crisis proofing your business, hiring people who really share your values. I talked about the how within McDonald's, people would mobilize and they would know their roles, and they would, come on, we can do this. We can do this. Do you have a we culture? Is it does everybody buy into you and what you're trying to do? Do they buy into your values, your true values? Would they follow you into the trenches, or would they push you? would they push you in a trench and run the other way? You really, these are times to really think about this. You will learn an awful lot about your people during this difficult time, just as you'll learn an awful lot about yourself. If I'm looking at it from a negative standpoint, although it could be extremely positive, this is the time when you will reap what you have sown, in terms of how you have been with your team, what you have done for them, how you've trained them, how you've developed them, how you've cared for them as individuals. This is massive when it comes to a time of crisis, and now, even if you hadn't been as good as you could have been, maybe now is the time to change that. You've got a fabulous opportunity to change that and to show how much your teams mean to you. Good for you if you're already ahead of the game. Obviously, it's brilliant. One of the other big lessons I learned from McDonald's was around hiring people who are smarter than you. There was one period with a chief exec who was actually a good friend of mine, and he had always led in really great times. He'd driven the business forward. He was a great leader for good times. When the bad times hit, when there was a crisis, he struggled, and he was responsible during one of the big financial crises, and he really struggled. He wasn't 100% certain what to do, but he felt that he had to have all the answers. So he surrounded himself with people who were not as smart as him. He surrounded himself with people who would follow him into the trenches, but he had to have all the answers for them to then go and play their roles. Sadly, he had to leave. He was removed from his position, and the new guy that came in brought in some really sharp minds. Some real key people from other industries, and built this team of incredibly smart people around him, and then used their brains. Within your team, you will have really smart people. Maybe people that you've never asked their opinion before, maybe people you already know are smart, but get your team together and get them to brainstorm ways through this, the best way through this. just as easy to do this online now as getting round a table. Get that brainstorm going, get their ideas, involve them in the solution, involve them in the prolonging of your business, in the saving of your business, in the driving it and making it come out the other end as something even better than it was when you went into the crisis. So make sure that none of us is as good as all of us, as it says there. Really, really so true and so important to recognise that at this point. Don't have it all falling on your shoulders. If this goes on for months and months, as it seems like it's going to, the stress of that will just bring you down. Spread the load, use your team, get them involved. And make planning a priority. I said about at the beginning that the reason McDonald's come out of the back of crises and then rise quite quickly again, excuse me, is because they make planning a priority. They really do take time to think about where they're going, where they've been and what they can learn from that, and where they're going next. And they bring everybody into that. Every single 90 days, McDonald's plan, they have a 90-day goal review every single 90 days where they bring together corporate people, franchisees, suppliers, people from the restaurant teams, and they plan where the business is going. They look at what opportunities are coming up. They also look at the challenges that they're going to be facing, whether that's challenges from competitors or from something, a food shortage, whatever it might be. They're more like meerkats than hamsters, put it that way. Is that you? Is that what you have done historically? If you want to crisis-proof your business, I would suggest that it's something that you need to start doing going forward. And now is a really good time to do that. Although at the moment we're probably planning week to week and month to month because we don't know where we're at. But we're still planning. We're still thinking about it. And it is that I can't remember who was it that said, it's not the plans that are important, it's the planning. Again, involving your team in that. And obviously I would say this, but it's so true. Systemize everything in your business. And when you systemize everything in your business, you have complete clarity, you have real consistency, and that gives you as a business owner that freedom of choice. Gives you more time, gives you more time to think, to plan, to work on your business, gives you choice. And that's always going to be important for us as business owners. So that's really what I learned from the crises at McDonald's. What about some of the quick wins and the things that you should be thinking about right now? These are the just a few of my top tips, my top recommendations for going into this crisis. There will be other things that you need to do during the crisis, but if you get these few things nailed now, then you're going to be way ahead of the game. You're going to be much better off than an awful lot of other businesses going through this. Just first of all, to be clear, what I call a system is simply a simple, logical, and repeatable way of doing things. A simple, logical, and repeatable way of doing things. The language of systems can often get in the way of people systemizing. You start talking about Lean Six Sigma or ISO 9001 or standard operating procedures, process re-engineering. That whole language it just makes it sound bureaucratic and boring and a whole load of pain. A system is a simple, logical, and repeatable way of doing things. Keep that in your mind as we're working through this. For me, there are 7 business critical systems in your business. Your customer experience system, your team building system, and that is your way of building a team, your ways of building a team. So your hiring system, your probation system, how you assess the team you already have, their performance versus their potential. So that whole team building system. Your team development system, that's your training and feedback. Your business rhythm system. We're going to talk about that now in a little while. Then your systemized sales, your money in, money out, and finally your wealth system, your proper wealth. Your time, your financial freedom, your personal growth and development, your control of your day-to-day time. Really, really important system to get right. But the 4 at the bottom are what I really want to focus on, because they are your absolute foundations. Obviously, we're just going to scrape the surface today, but at the end of this video, I'll show you how you can get more information on this if it strikes a chord with you. And these really are going to crisis-proof your business. If you get these 7 systems nailed in your business, pretty much any crisis that comes along, you're going to, if it's a crisis as big as this, a pandemic, you're going to struggle, but you're going to have things in place that make it easier to just mobilize. And what I was talking about earlier with McDonald's, it's that, okay, right, so we know what we're doing, bang, 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 this is how it's going to work. And it makes it makes your systems the same but different, if that makes sense. So there are an awful lot of people that had they had proper training in place, they wouldn't now be left with potentially the one person who knows how to perform a key function in their business being struck down with coronavirus, and them not having access to that information because it's in somebody's head, not recorded somewhere. That's the sort of thing I'm talking about. So, okay, let's have a look at your customer experience system for a start. And when I'm talking about your customer experience system, I'm talking about 2 things. One is the journey that your customer goes on through your business and all of the touch points that they have as they work through to buy your service or your product. And then the second part is all of the operational tasks that support that customer journey. So there's your customer track, if you like, and then your operational track. The way we look at a customer journey is to, we map it out, usually on a huge long roll of brown paper. And we mark out what are called swim lanes, because they look like the swim lanes in a swimming pool, funnily enough. And each row gets assigned a name or a role. So as you see here, we have client, we have business owner, we have role 1, role 2, we have admin, we have accounting software, we have other software. You will know way better than I do what the roles are in your business. If you're accountant, business owner might read senior partner, role 1 might be accountant, role 2 might be junior, and so on. You decide. If you're in a really small business, each of these lanes might be an individual's name because they perform a very individual role within your business. Whatever works for you, get the roles down. And then taking post-it notes, you mark out step by tiny step what happens currently along your customer journey. What is it that you do currently? For this time of crisis, as you're working through this, you're going to be asking, okay, that's what we currently do. How's that going to work now that we're all working remotely? So taking another color post-it note, anything that needs to change, be done differently, you work out how you're going to do it differently and then put a post-it note on there to show this is a change. This is something that we're going to do differently. This is something that we need to think about exactly how we're going to do it and train the team to do it this way. If you've already had say you have, your calls are handled by a remote business, you know, like you can hire a team who sit in Derby, and they answer all your calls and take all of your messages for you, for example. If you already do that, then your changes are going to be very small. But if you've always sat in an office where the phone rings and whoever's not already on a call picks up the phone, then you need to think about how you're now going to operate with everybody sitting at home with or without mobile phones, actually, because some of your team will not have a business phone. Some of them will only have their home phone. So you really need to sit and think very clearly, how's this going to work for us now going forward? How do we want it to work? What is the best way? What is the most simple, logical and repeatable way of doing this? And just simply post-it note by post-it note, work out exactly what's going to happen along your customer journey so that your customer is still kept informed, still gets the service or the product that they need, even if it's delayed, even if it's at a different level to what it might have been. Really, I can't stress this enough, that you sit and take the time to map this out. If you can do it with your team on a Zoom call, as we're doing, then great. You know, I'd be more than happy to send you our template. It's a simple PowerPoint template, and to be honest, you could probably knock it up yourself in 5 minutes. And just map out the customer journey, create new text boxes to add a new step. Okay, so who's going to take those calls? How are we going to, what questions do we want to ask every single time on every call? And map your customer journey as it's going to be going forward. Once you've got the whole journey mapped, then you come back and look again at the operational tasks. Initially, the operational tasks that are going to change, that have to change. And you're going to look at how you do them. In every business, and this is massively important for crisis-proofing your business, in every business, you want to develop one right way to do every task along the customer journey. Just one right way. If you think about your business pre-coronavirus, how many different ways were there to do tasks? You know, how many different individuals had their way of doing something that was a routine task that everybody does every day? There is only one way to cook French fries in a McDonald's. It's the McDonald's way, it's the right way. Nobody would dream of doing it any differently. Ultimately, in your business, when this is all over, this is still absolutely crucial to crisis-proofing your business. There is one right way to do every task, and everybody does the task in that way. It means that if somebody decides to leave you, everybody else still knows how to do that task. You always want at least one other person who knows how to do every task in your business. I'm going to show you how you achieve that in a second. But getting that one right way, thinking now while you've got a bit more time about these new tasks that you're creating, this new way of working remotely. How do you want it to be done? What is the best way to do this task? Not what's the quickest, what can we get going quickly? Well, you might think, what can we get going quickly? But you've got to come back to, okay, we're going to do it this way for a week because it's quick. But as soon as we've got X bit of software or X bit of kit in place, this is how it's going to be done, and we're going to make sure that everybody does it this way. Can't stress that enough. As I said, simple as possible so that everybody can understand it, logical so that it makes sense to everybody, so that I would walk into your business or call into your business and it would seem logical to me. I wouldn't be asked, so why do you do it that way? That seems a bit strange. Logical, really important, and then repeatable so that it's done the same way over and over and over again. Everybody does it that way. The way you achieve that is through something called the how-to. You can call it a standard operating procedure if you like, but the how-to makes it, the language of the how-to makes it accessible to everybody. Oh, this is a how-to. This is going to show you how to do this task. You see there are several different ways here to do a how-to. The one on the left shows you step by step by step. Crucially, at the bottom, it talks about why we do it this way. If you've taken the time to work out the best way, the most simple, logical, and repeatable way of doing a task, tell people why you do it this way. What is it? Why is it important? Why is it important for you, for your client, for the team? Step-by-step guide. Second one is a checklist, and there will always be a need for checklists in businesses. Starting in the morning checklist, a closing down at night checklist, a making sure that we've got everything in a client's pack checklist. Checklists are always going to be really useful in business, and infographics for businesses that want to show things or can show things more visually, then an infographic is going to work. That said, all of those are great, but if you think about where we all go to when we want to learn something new, we go to Google or we go to YouTube. And for those businesses who do the vast majority of their work online, then the best way to create a how-to is the how-to video. If you think about some of the software that you already use, the software company provides you with how-to videos, don't they? They show you step-by-step how to do a task. What I'm suggesting to you, what I'm recommending to you, what I'm telling you to do is to create how-to videos for your tasks, for your way of working with your bits of software, your database, your client management software, whatever it might be. Routine tasks that are done in your business every single day online can all have a how-to video. Even, you know, if you were a beauty salon, you can still do how-to videos for how to set up a room for a massage, how to the equipment you need to set up for a facial, for example. But for those businesses that work online, almost entirely, the how-to video is just a no-brainer. Simply using screen recording software. So if you are a Mac user, then QuickTime will record your screen. How are we doing for time talking about that? QuickTime will record your screen. If you use a PC, then there is Camtasia. Anybody that uses Chrome as a browser has an extension called Loom, L-O-O-M. You simply press record, talk to the screen through the task that you're working on, press stop, and you have your how-to video that can then be shared with your team that shows exactly how you want a task done and why you want it done that way. In an ideal world, and certainly going forward post-crisis, your team can also get involved. Your really trusted members of your team who do tasks to your standard, they can be trusted to record how-to videos for you. So it's not all on you. But for now, if you're setting up new tasks and you want them to be done in a very particular way, it's a really good idea for you to start in that how-to creation. We actually have a how to create a how-to video. If you'd like a copy of that, let me know. I'll give my details at the end, so you can have a look at yourself at how you do that. Okay, just conscious of time, so I'm going to whiz through a few of these now. Your team building system, talked about. That's, you're not really going to be hiring, but think about anybody that might be on probation with you right now. What are you going to do to support them through their probation period, so that you're not keeping somebody on past probation that maybe wouldn't have ordinarily passed probation? Think about how you're going to handle that, because it is quite a tricky one. Maybe talk to your HR representative, your HR partner about that. As I said, for leadership, your leadership in this is now crucial. Your values and how you live your values day to day online are going to be really, really important. Your team development system, really, that is all about taking your how-to guides and training your team to do those new tasks, deciding who's going to do each task, and then giving them your how-to guide so that they can do that task well, so that they can do it to your standard. Don't really have time to go through these tools at the moment, but your team training map is basically a map of each individual, the training that each individual role needs in their first week, their first 90 days, and then their first year and beyond. It's a really good tool for keeping on top of your training. How-to guides, obviously we talked about those. A training tracker, somewhere to store your how-to guides and then track that individuals have received their training. And then a one-page performance review for formal feedback. Again, I will be doing further videos, and they will be on my YouTube channel. For those of you who want to get further information on this, it's going to be really important as we get into this, but it's not urgent right now. What is urgent is your business rhythm system, and really this is going to be crucial to your success with remote working. What I'm really talking about here is having that 90-day planning and goals, keeping that in your head, because it's going to be really important that you do that. But most importantly is communication and routine, really vital. And you had a rhythm working within an office. If you're lucky enough to already be remote, then this isn't going to be such a huge leap for you. But within an office, it is a big leap. So how do you create your new rhythm? Well, what I highly recommend is that every single day you bring everybody together for a daily huddle on Zoom. Get everybody to come into a Zoom call. It doesn't have to be long. The first few might be up to 30 minutes, but going forward, they'll probably be 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. You have them at like 10 o'clock in the morning so that those who've got to do something with kids can get that done and still be on the call. But have it every morning at the same time. You want to create a routine, a proper routine that everybody buys into. So your daily huddle every morning at the same time, all team members, face to face on Zoom. You're going to focus on, okay, so what are the 3 things that you're going to get done? Let's go around the table. Let's go around the everybody on the call. What are the 3 things that you're going to get done today? Great. Anybody got any challenges or questions? If so, stay on the Zoom call, and then you go through with one-to-ones on Zoom with anyone who has challenges or questions with what they're looking to get done that day. Okay, so daily huddle, massive. It's going to be massive for supporting people, keeping people engaged, keeping people focused on their work, energized, and routine. At the end of the day, you can either have a check-in, another Zoom call, which would be great initially, It would be great anyway, but it's possibly more difficult, I don't know. But at least have a check-in by every employee. So they have committed to 3 tasks in the morning, check in at the end of their day, and bear in mind that for some people, because of the patterns of work are going to be all over the place, for some people the end of the day could be 11 o'clock at night, or midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. But as long as at the end of their day they put in perhaps Microsoft, if you use Microsoft Teams, or another bit of software is Slack, that they stay, completed this and this, or completed this and this, had a bit of trouble with this, would like to talk about the daily huddle tomorrow. Okay. So that's your daily routine, your daily rhythm. Weekly, either Friday afternoon, Monday, review the week and celebrate any small wins. Small wins are going to be really important. Maybe they're team's personal little wins. They managed to train one of the kids in some mathematical form. I don't have kids, so lucky me, I don't have to do homeschooling. An update on the business, going to be really important week to week. Plan for the week ahead, assign tasks. If you've got somebody answering the phone, one person answering the phone each day, share the rota for that. Those sort of things once a week. And in the early days, in these early weeks, having a one-to-one with every team member at some point during the week. Just check in, how's it going? You just pick up the phone. You don't have to do this on Zoom. Face-to-face is always nice, but you don't have to do it on Zoom. You can just pick up the phone. How's it going? Have you got everything you need? Are you and your family safe? Well, just raising that level of, I'm here for you, I care for you, I want to make sure that we all get through this together. And if for accounting practices, scheduling those supervision sessions that are going to be so important. What meetings are really important for you? Make sure that you schedule those once a week. At the end of the month, if you've got a key team, or if you're a small team, all of your team, looking at the whole month. Okay, where are we at? What did we get done? What did we learn from last month that's going to help us in the months to come? Again, celebrating any wins, anything. And movement, having that movement towards 90-day goals. It's tricky at the moment to have your 90-day goals, because none of us know where we're going to be in 90 days. We don't know what the situation is going to be. Although the Tokyo Olympics might be going ahead. Strange one. Anyway, so reviewing the success towards 90-day goals. Being able to just really creating, I talked about this, creating those new routines. Other things to consider. Plan for this as if it's permanent, as if this is the way you're going to be working forever. Don't fudge it, because things will fall through the cracks. You'll miss things. So really plan as if it's permanent, as if this is the way we're always going to be working from now on. Remember that team members will want to, or in some cases will have to work at different times of the day, different ends of the day. Some will be very early in the morning, some will be really late at night, and all areas in between. So do your best to work around that, while maintaining that routine of your daily huddle, same time every day. Clients are going to want you to be more flexible. Similar to your team members, they're going to be needing stuff at different times of the day too now. But recognize the benefits. Recognize that how you get a longer day when your team is starting early and some are finishing late. And also recognize that you do have financial efficiencies from working at home. So as you're working through this crisis, think about what's working. Think about the longer, as I said, planning as if it's permanent. What's working? How could we make this work really, really well for better for our business, our clients, and our team? And definitely focus on results, not on hours worked. Make sure that you have the ability, think about what you need your team to do and how you can measure their success. You know, do you need them to make 20 calls? Do you need them to write 3 reports? Do you need them to, you know, think of the measures that you want to have, and then, you know, judge your people on their delivery of results, not on whether they took 2 hours or 10 hours to do it. 2 hours or 10 hours, probably a bit extreme, but you know what I mean. Think about results, not hours worked, and certainly not 9 to 5. You know, as I said a second ago, you are going to have people working at either end of the day. Those 4 systems are really the foundations of every business. As you know, we really just have scraped the surface, just so that I can give you some really key tips to put in place now. The other systems, you know, I don't even want to touch on for this session. If you want more information from me, there is information on my website, my LinkedIn page. I'm going to be posting videos on my LinkedIn page pretty much every day, either answering people's direct questions or posting posting my recommendations in terms of what to put in place. And as I said, there's already a stack of information on YouTube, and that's not specifically crisis related, but it certainly is related to crisis proofing your business for the future. So please feel free to get in touch. My email address is me@mariannepage.co.uk. Feel free to get in touch if you want more from me, if you want me to help you work through your customer journey mapping, let me know. In the meantime, have a great week, stay safe, keep your distance, and see you very soon. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.